Cool. Welcome back to another episode of Old Man Media. We are your hosts, Will Ragg and
Paul Buchanan.
Today we're going to be talking about the new Timothy Chalamet star vehicle, Marty Supreme. It came out Boxing Day 2025.
Well, somewhat. I thought it was out, but then it's like specific screenings. Like I was trying to see the film in Brighton with my buds, and then like they just didn't have screenings everywhere. It was only select ones on Boxing Day anyway, and then sort of rolled out a bit more select cinemas after that. But didn't really know how it works.
Is there a big chain cinema in Brighton though? I feel like there's not.
Odeon.
There is an Odeon.
There's a Cineworld, but there's also two or three or three picture houses, and then there's like some independent ones as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It was actually a lot easier to find in the Portsmouth View, so you got to give it its props.
Yeah. Yeah, View's always good, I feel.
Well,
the quality of the picture's not always great. I went to a screening of that Stephen King. Back to Stephen King. What was it called? The Long Road or something. And the whole screen was blue.
Oh, you watched that?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, even without the blue screen, I would have thought it looked bad.
I got dragged to it by a friend, but it was just terrible.
You're going to name drop him?
No, it's not someone you know.
You're going to at them?
No, I don't want to at them. But no, terrible film.
If you're listening, friend, he's not happy you dragged him to it.
No, and I had to be really polite about it afterwards. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I think if it wasn't for the blue screen, it would have been really good, but I don't know, it just kind of ruined it for me.
Coward.
But
call yourself a film critic.
It's just terrible. Like,
you've got to be an asshole.
Awful.
Like, someone brings you to a film you don't like, you just got to
I got to be really rude to them.
Fucking hell, you wasted 3 hours of my life there, or 2 hours. 3 hours including the drive.
But yeah, I always think that the projection isn't great at View. And the sound quality is too loud sometimes at View, I find.
Loud but not clear at the same time. Muffled.
Yeah.
Distorted.
But I didn't think there was anything particularly bad about this screening. I think the
Marty Supreme screening at the View, I couldn't floor it. It was what film did we go see last time? It was
One Battle
after another.
But yeah, that's the thing. Having seen that at the BFI IMAX, everything's kind of pales in comparison a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the soundtrack, the speakers and stuff of the IMAX really, really helped the soundtrack shine. Yeah. But yeah, Marty Supreme, we went to go see on the 27th, the day after Boxing Day.
Yes, I think that's right. Yeah.
And I was sort of, I don't know, I'm always hesitant when something's promoted to me like that heavily, and they went hard, or at least Timmy was out there on the front lines giving out jackets and trying to being a bit gracious in interviews. And yeah,
you said it did make a bit more sense of why he acted like such an arsehole in the all of the press.
Yeah,
just because that is like kind of the character, isn't it? And I think he was playing that up a lot. But I think that is like the era of film media coverage that we're in, is that stuff has to be beamed to you constantly. And I do appreciate it to a degree, because they are trying to get people in the cinemas specifically
for a new film and not a remake, as we discussed on the last episode.
Yes, a brand new original film, and it's one of A24's biggest films,
which is crazy because they've had some big ones in the past.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been really big, and they have done it like a Supreme drop almost.
I
with
saw
the
that.
Title as well. I think it kind of,
because like his name in the movie isn't actually Marty Supreme. It's like Marty Schauser.
Marty Mauser. Yeah.
Marty Mauser.
Kind of based on a real guy. I read his name a minute ago. Now I can't remember it. But yeah, I think a lot of the backstory is made up. But that, what I wanted to say to you is, without giving too much away, because obviously it's a brand new film, but the honey story that everyone afterwards was like, why was that in there? It was true. That's what I said afterwards. I bet they put it in there because it's true. And yeah, apparently there was a table tennis guy who was in Auschwitz and was I think 2 or 3 times was going to be put into the gas chambers, but the Nazi guards recognised him as a table tennis champion and spared him execution. And then he was defusing bombs, and yeah, you have to see the film to know the rest of the story. But
and that's all true.
And that's all true.
Wow.
Very impressive. Obviously, it is set just after World War II, and there is a lot of references to World War II in the film.
Well, I was about to just check as well, like who wrote the film, and it's Josh Safdie and a guy called Ronald Bronstein. I think he's worked with them on like Good Time. All of them. And so yeah, he worked with the brothers, but this is the first since they've separated. Ronald Bronstein seemed to have carried on with Josh.
Safdie, not Benny. But yeah, he's worked with them for a long time. I feel like he's worked with them on like Daddy Longlegs, like one of their first feature films. I think he was the dad in Daddy Longlegs, actually.
So he collaborated with him on Daddy Longlegs, Heaven Knows What, Good Time, Uncut Gems, and then Mighty Supreme. Yeah. And he produced, or the Safdie brothers produced a couple of the films, his other films. Oh yeah, that's right. He is a filmmaker. Yeah. Oh yeah, If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. I think Benny Safdie was in that. Yeah.
Oh no, that's a lie.
Benny Safdie wanted to focus on his acting, as that was part of the split I heard. But it's weird because you've got them separating, and then the same year they've got these competing sports biopics. But with Benny doing the Smashing Machine starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and it's like it feels like you can't help but put them in competition in your mind, even though I've read that it was a completely amicable split, and like Benny wanted to focus on acting, and he wanted to, and then I think they just wanted different things. But I don't know. You've seen the Smashing Machine, right?
Yes, I watched it in cinemas. I think Rock has a good chance at the Oscars. I think he's really, really good in it. The Rock has always been a really good actor. One of his first acting roles was in Southland Tales, which I don't know if you've seen, but it's a film I love. It's universally pretty hated, but I think it's great. I think it's so good. And The Rock is a really interesting character in it. Nothing like he's ever done since, and probably nothing like he'll ever do again, but a really interesting role for him. And I think Smashing Machine lends itself a bit more to The Rock and his star power and where he is, and he's really, really good at it. But I think, in my mind at least, there's a pretty clear winner for this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I thought Dwayne The Rock Johnson was great in it, and also the supporting actress.
Emily Blunt, I don't like.
Emily Blunt, I thought was good in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I think she was fine in it, but I don't like her as an actor.
But like, I think, so I've kind of done it in the reverse order. I didn't see the Smashing Machine until like 2 days ago, and I watched it after watching Mighty Supreme in preparation for this podcast because I thought the topic would come up, and I was like, I don't know. I think after watching Mighty Supreme and then watching that, I was like, there's only so many sports biopics you can watch in a week. But I guess the issue is it is very just like a play it by the book biopic, and there's like kind of the theme of him struggling with his relationship, and then kind of what I liked is that it doesn't focus on him as a winner, like for people who haven't seen the film. Spoilers, but he loses a couple times, and he has these setbacks and struggles with opioid addiction, and but like the moral was ambiguous to me because it all like I could kind of at the end they do the title cards and it's like this is what's his name?
Oh yeah, and Mark Kerr.
Mark Kerr, pioneer of UFC, blah blah blah, and like no one really knows his name. But like the whole story of him and his girlfriend who just like they're toxic as fuck, and you're kind of not rooting for them to get back together. You're kind of rooting for her to leave him alone. She's kind of like an anti. Like she's kind of like not the villain, but like the antagonist in a way because she's holding him back from. And even when he like loses a battle, all these scenes of her flash through his head, and it's insinuated that the fact that he's having all this drama at home is affecting his fighting, and he just couldn't do it. And then it's like he gets back together with her as the ending of the film, and then like it's like okay, well, what's the whole point of this? Like sometimes I'm not a fan of neatly wrapped endings with a bow, but like you're just a bit like. They've chosen a very weird snapshot of his career to show and not really follow up on. And like, would it have been better to have a bit of his up and coming career and developing this relationship, because you start the film and she's already his girlfriend, long-time girlfriend. You know, you don't find out anything before. I just think you're kind of just dropped in and then dropped out again, and you're like, I don't really know that much more about anything apart from I know who Mark Kerr is now, you know, and I know that he struggled a little bit of his relationship, and he had an addiction. Yeah, I don't know. The most inspiring bit is him bringing himself back from addiction to compete again, and then his relationship fucking falls apart again. You're like, well, I don't know, this guy can't catch a break.
It is a little bit paint by numbers biopic.
Paint by numbers, but also like maybe not enough. Like it was trying not to be, but then wasn't. It's like decisive enough and where it was headed. So instead of showing you how he became a UFC fighter and how he met this girl, like you dropped in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do think it does a little bit of its own thing. Like I love the score. I think the score was really good. And having like I don't know if it was the score, but the jazz stuff for the fight scenes I thought was fantastic. And I always love what's the Billy Swan song they have in? I feel like it's Burning Love, isn't it? The Elvis cover, which is so good. Yeah, it's very clear from that film, I think, that who brought what to the Safdies joint films. Benny, I think, definitely brings
I'd say the style.
Softness. I was going to say soft, like the character wise. I think right. Benny. I think also being an actor probably lends to that. The character felt a lot more fleshed out and a lot more empathetic, and obviously Marty Supreme is very much more akin to Uncut Gems than Smashing Machine is, and it's the high anxiety kind of thriller. You're following a guy who's just getting into these incredibly like awkward social situations, and there's like all of this violence that erupts from that, and you know, he can't like navigate it in a normal way. He has to push himself and everyone around him to the absolute limit. But I see, my thing is, I think they complemented each other very well, and the Uncut Gems I think is so good. Marty Supreme lacked a bit of that character-wise, although I think it is still better than the Smashing Machine.
Yeah, I do agree that the characters were maybe a little bit more surface level in Marty Supreme, in that they're all there to sort of like guide, like maybe this is what my problem with the Smashing Machine is also it fills out like the areas that Marty Supreme was missing, but then Marty Supreme, you know, it has a clear point, you know, that it wants to start and end with, and it gets there very efficiently in a way, even though it is like 2 hours long. You're still I think the
length is a little bit.
It's very to the point. Whereas the Smashing Machine, I felt like, was trying to give you this depth of character, but then again, like maybe lulling a bit and not really. I wasn't sure what it was trying to do or trying to purvey. You know, whereas like I just felt like Marty Supreme was very like, you know, very wrapped up in a neat little bow ending for me.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, yeah, you know, obviously spoilers for people who haven't seen it, but it ends with him holding his baby for the first time, his newborn, and Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears comes in, and it's a great needle drop, but it's also just so, you know, it does feel very like predictable. The soundtrack's been 80 songs all up until that point, and but then again, it is one of the, like, that song sums up the whole ethos of the film. Everybody wants to rule the world. Yeah. You just got this guy wants to be the best, the greatest. He's got a vision of, and you know, he sees him becoming even greater than the sport of ping pong through, like, you know what I mean. He's bringing so much life to this sport. And I think that's almost like a comical thing as well in the film, is that, you know, obviously no one, you know, it's treating ping pong as if it was like basketball, and you've got like a, you know, complete like superstar from a superstardom from ping pong, which is quite a funny concept. I think.
Yeah. No, I think that is
the bad boy of ping pong.
The bad boy.
It's like that. What's the guy, the bowling guy, the bad boy of bowling? And he's
well, who do you think you are? I am. Yeah. I can't remember that guy's name, but yeah, he's great.
When Safdie brothers do link up and do a biopic on him, it's gonna go.
Oh my god,
go off. The Big Lebowski tribute.
The Big Lebowski, but high anxiety.
You know, there's a lot of similarities between Coen brothers and the Safdie brothers. Because they're both brothers and they both direct. And yeah, they both did the solo projects. It's very clear which one was the similar point. I haven't actually. Which solo projects have they done? Ethan.
What, the Coen brothers?
Yeah.
Ethan Coen did that one with Margaret Qualley that I didn't watch. Some baby.
Oh, Baby Girl, the one with like.
No.
Okay.
No, I can't remember. But then
I was gonna say Baby Girl is like the whole like S&M, like she's a high-end corporate executive and then she meets a guy.
Oh no, not with Nicole Kidman. No, not that one. No, it's with Margaret Qualley and I didn't watch it. Runaway Dolls.
Ah.
And do you think this is interesting? Me trying to remember the names of films. No, but it's very clear from both of their solo projects which one of them was like the director and which one was the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, should we talk about the films a bit individually?
Yeah.
As opposed to get together, because Marty Supreme, incredible stuff. I think a little long, but so well done the whole way through. The whole 50s aesthetic. When we came out of the cinema, you said you didn't like that it was 50s, but they spoke like it was modern day. Or no, you did.
I didn't say that. No.
Oh, okay. But
I don't mind that in films. You know, I like Napoleon, where it's like you know all like modern day American speech, even though it's supposed to be like. But then again, if you want utmost historical accuracy, well, then we all be speaking in French and we'll put subtitles, and no one will like that either. So you know what I mean. I think you've got to reappropriate it to a modern day audience, and like it makes it more accessible. And you don't really think. I don't think about it. I wasn't in the fucking 50s. I don't remember. I don't want everybody to sound like this. Batter up, boy. You know, it's like fucking just.
I think that could have been funny, but no, I don't. Yeah.
Well, Timothy Chalamet be like, see.
Oh, listen here.
I'll tell you about ping pong, eh? I mean, I guess the one bit that does break the kind of immersion for me is Tyler the Creator just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and you're
that's the bit you said. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the 1950s, but he also it looks like an outfit he'd wear on like an album cover of his, and
the bit
he's
where
talking.
Ghost Ride the Whip is great. That is funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Yeah, I think that was a little bit immersion breaking and a little bit. I don't know. It's a moment. It's definitely a moment. It's his Tyler Creator's first proper acting role that I know of. So
yeah, I don't know if he's done much. Yeah, you weren't really fussed on the fact that Tyler was in it. You thought that? No.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I can't fault him, but I can't say much because it's. I don't know. Was he that like? Did he bring so much life and energy to this role that it like reinvented him like as an actor? You know, no. It was him kind of playing it fairly straight. You know,
I think his character was interesting in how it showed how loyal Marty is to those around him, like his immediate friends, and like he's every single time he sees him, he's like, "I love you, I love you, I love you," you know. And but then he's also willing to use everybody else around. I mean, he does even use Tyler to a certain degree, and how he's, I think, you know, he's brought up in this melting pot that is New York, and he's even in the 50s, he's treating black people as equals. Which I thought was interesting. Yeah,
I mean, there's a whole like string of things going on in the movie with him being Jewish, and then like there's
well, that's true as well. Yeah,
so we were talking earlier about the honey scene with this, like, you know, apparently based on a real person.
Also, sorry, can I just say, I didn't realise it does make sense that he's Jewish because obviously Josh Safdie is Jewish, and I didn't realize that he was Jewish until like the scene where he's talking to the reporters and he goes, I'm going to do to Auschwitz what this guy I'm going to do this guy what Auschwitz couldn't.
Yeah.
And which I was like, oh my God.
That's the bit I was about to reference, where it's like, talks about that, but then he's like, oh, it's okay, I'm Jewish, I'm allowed to say that. And it's like, I don't know, still quite offensive talking about his friend in that way, maybe. But then it's kind of, very forward-thinking individual in a way, and it is a person that's been placed in 1950s that seemingly it's like I say, it's a modern day superstar. It's not someone you'd ever find, well, not someone you'd likely find in the 1950s, I don't think. And that's kind of the one thing with the film that's a bit weird. It's like him, Tyler the Creator, they're these modern day personalities placed into a 1950s landscape, and then you've got 80s music. So it is like, you know, it's a time period piece, not really, but it's a really good ride of a film, you know. It's like a whole kind of, it does kind of have a Coen Brothers feel to it, where it kind of, they go on these little side quests, and there's I like that, like, you know, certain characters pop up and you're with them for like half an hour, and then they're gone for the rest of the film. And you know, there's his girlfriend, or, you know, she's with some other guy, but she's like a childhood friend who like was sleeping with in the beginning and then ends up having a kid with, and you know, she isn't really a big part in the film at the beginning, and then you kind of are unsure she's going to, and then she comes back and plays a bit of a part later on. And then, you know, he's with this Jewish table tennis player for a while, and like they're accompanying each other, and you kind of find out about their relationship, and he's kind of just like super flowing through the world, and, you know, meets Gwyneth Paltrow, and, you know, then, you know, he's just making his way through. I do like when you meet characters and just random 10-minute characters, and they feel like completely fleshed out, and they feel like a real person. Obviously the Safdies do that a lot, because they just get people like from like real New Yorkers they've met to come into their films, and Uncut Gems was big on that. Did you notice that the guy the guy who lost the dog is Abel Ferreira? Do you know who he is? I looked him up after the film.
Oh, okay. Well, he was a big director back in the day. He did King of New York and did Driller Killer, which was one of the video nasties. Famous New Yorker. But his bodyguard, you know, when he goes to get the dog from the girl, is Rats. I think it's Ratso. Oh God, I can't remember. He's not Ratso. That's wrong. But he was also in Uncut Gems. He's one of those New Yorker guys that they get for their films. I thought that was interesting. But no, I mean, I was watching for the first screening of this film to the public at the New York Film Festival, and Timothy and Josh talk about how this is a love letter to New York, and as like overdone as like that is as a concept for a film, it is. You know, Timothy says it's a love letter to the New York past and present and what New York can be, and it is. You can feel in it that they do really love New York. And all of the like zany characters that are in there. Obviously New York is always really important, but I think the more interesting stuff actually happens outside of New York. Though, obviously they have London, and they have Tokyo as well, which is another big part of it, where I think the more revealing character elements happen outside of New York.
But I think Japan is like the white whale. That's Marty's white whale for a while.
Yeah.
He's trying to get back to Japan, or he's trying to get to Japan to compete for the next Table Tennis World Championships. And I don't know, it's very much it's confusing, the themes in the film about sort of chasing your dream, because on one hand he kind of fucks over people and is a dick to other people just to achieve his dream, but then on the other hand you really admire his like drive and motivation to just get to Japan and do that. His goal is to beat this Japanese table tennis player who beat him in the last Table Tennis World Championship, and
not only beat him but humiliated him at a sport he considers himself to be the best at.
And it's like you know, he's fighting, bouncing back even harder from that to regain his kind of, I don't know, his place where he feels he belongs. And then, you know, he at the end he takes just a standard game against him as or not even a standard, like a exhibition match essentially, which he was supposed to lose, and I think he does, and then he goes, "Let's replay it for real." And
yeah,
then
because that first game. Sorry, no, that's a spoiler. Sorry.
well, it's alright. Anyone who's listened should have watched. The film.
Because the first one's scripted, isn't it? That he says at the beginning, "I'm going to lose 21-14."
Yeah.
And then they bring the pig out for him to kiss, and he's like, no, let's do this for real. That was all scripted. You deserve better.
And then there's also like the bit. So like the person he's trying to impress the most is one of the like leaders of the ping pong world championships, and he's not allowed this year because I can't remember why.
Oh, why is he not allowed to compete?
Yeah.
Well, because he got barred by the Ping Pong Association because he racked up a 1,500.
Oh yeah, because he acts like a rich person. He's trying to impress Gwyneth Paltrow. Gets all this stuff on room service and then just never pays it off. I think it's
which was quite a funny bit because like he obviously he goes and says to them, "Oh, I'm your star player." He considers himself the star player, and he's like, "I'm bringing so much money in, and you're putting me in this like damp room. I've got to get my rest and stuff." And then they say, "No, you can't have that." And then the next scene, he's in the Ritz. It was quite funny.
Yeah, and then I think there's interesting the dynamic between him and Rockwell Inc., who is Gwyneth Paltrow's husband in the film, and he's like this old geezer, and Timothy's obviously like he shags his wife like a couple of times in the film. But again, he really relies on this guy to bring him over to Japan. Like the exhibition match is set up by this guy, and he's basically this guy is paying him to take the loss. But it's also an ego thing. This guy is probably getting a power trip because before Timothy was very egotistical and flippant about his initial offer to go and like play this exhibition match and get some money, and Timothy Chalamet was like, "No, fuck this, I'll get to Japan on my own." And then when he couldn't get to Japan on his own, he kind of came crawling back, and then he had to go from an even like worse kind of standing point. But yeah, I don't know. And then it's kind of like talks about like he says to him like there are no second chances in life or something like that, and it's this fatalistic kind of like thing that the film's trying to tell you is like, being too big for your boots and aiming too high, and you sometimes ruin other chances through that. Like you ruin your second chances and stuff. Yeah,
it is. I think it is really interesting what you're saying about his relationship with what was his? Is it Norman Rockwell? No.
Yeah, head of Rockwell. I don't know if it's
the pen guy. Anyway,
yeah, the pen dude.
That he. As opposed to Uncut Gems, I think Marty Mauser learns humiliation. He learns a bit of humility in that he is like, no, I can get to Japan on my own. I'm going to do all of this. And then obviously can't get to Japan because he's banned and also he hasn't got enough money.
I guess a lot of the film is a side quest of him getting money, isn't it?
Yeah,
because he's going to go his own route,
really.
And then it doesn't work out. But
yeah, it does feel like most of the film is a side quest, which I think is interesting, but also like I kind of wanted to see more ping pong. I don't know. But yeah, for a sports biopic, there wasn't actually a whole lot.
Well, that's the thing is, it's not like we're talking about the Smashing Machine, and we'll probably go on to that soon. But this isn't a sports biopic by nature. It's advertised and promoted as a sports biopic, and you're drawn in a little bit. But it's more than that. It's more. I think it's trying to say something more than that, and it's more about a personality and a drive and a kind of energy that you can bring into life. And yeah, kind of, and explores the relationships and navigates how people, young ambitious people can, make mistakes, or also make the opposite of mistakes.
Yeah.
Make movements.
I do think it's interesting. Marty's character is very obviously. I mean, I think all of the Safdies, well, maybe not the Smashing Machine, but all of the Safdies films, they feel like their characters are products of New York. And you feel like that frantic energy in them is a result of the place that they've come from. And I think even Timothy Chalamet's character in this says that, doesn't he? It's like, oh, where I'm from, it's every man for himself. And I think that's really interesting as it relates to our modern day. And I think this is an age of narcissism and an age of opportunism. And everybody's looking out for themselves. Everybody's scamming each other all the time. Everybody's doing like Bitcoin scams or all of this.
I mean,
stuff.
I don't know if you get half the like get rich quick schemes on Instagram are essentially making like AI shit accounts, or like, and then like eventually getting a certain amount of followers with that, and then I think they say that they're making this amount of money, but then they're selling these like get rich quick schemes to teach you how to do all the AI stuff. And I think that's where they make most of their money, is these free like not free, but like they charge you for like tutoring on how to make like a faceless AI Instagram account that builds in, I don't know.
Yeah, and the money is in the paying how to
that's the initial. It's kind of like a pyramid scheme, you know what I mean? And
pyramid schemes coming back in a big way.
But it's like a self-built, it's, I don't know, like everything in this day and age feels like a self-built fucking prison, and I feel like you're now your own like advertiser. Like you are now your own, purveying yourself to your own ads by like scroll or like scrolling on Instagram. You can decide not to at any point, and you can like get off the toilet, but like people are just like stuck because they've got this phone in their pocket and it's got this endless stream of information that's, I don't know, it's
we live in an age of self-made entrepreneurs, and you have to be a self-made entrepreneur to live a life worthy of the modern day. Do you know what I mean? And I really got that from this film. But I think what was interesting as well is it traces that back to post World War II, and the they talk about Japan in the film, and America's relationship with Japan is interesting because they basically had Japanese people in like internment camps post World War II, and they treated them really horribly. And that was a lot of the how much money America made there, and used Japan as like a satellite state. Helped fuel their American empire that we see today. They stretch across the world.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole Japan lost the war because of Fukushima. After that bomb drop, they just were like, actually, this has gone too far, because in retaliation to Pearl Harbor. But I feel like there is a joke that Marty makes in a ping pong kind of interview where he says something about Fukushima, right?
I'm going to drop the third atom bomb on him.
Yeah, which is like, I think at that point they're like, well, okay, that's a bit far. Like, you can't say that.
He's always trying to push it and see how far it can go, and I think you even get that because that's like almost a reference to the first joke, which was about Auschwitz. But he's like, oh no, it's fine. I'm also Jewish. But then that one is like I don't know how the 50s would have received that joke, but today you're like, I think that a lot of innocent people died there. That's really fucked.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, I only just thought about this, but that his win against Endo is like he gets embarrassed. He doesn't get many points in the first loss against Endo, and then the actual win itself, it's very like it gets to match point, and he managed to come back, and it is a good game of table tennis to watch in the film. But you got to think that he's not. It was a close game, and he's basically won by the skin of his teeth against him. So, like, for him to celebrate and it be his dream accomplishment, I wonder if that's intentional. Do you know what I mean? To think like he was just scraping to get a win to be like, yes, I've won, but he's not necessarily like they could play 3 games in a row and he might have lost the other 2.
Yeah, it's not like a game, like a professional game where they're doing loads of what's it, best of 3 or whatever. It's just one, and then winner takes all.
So it's like, what is the whole point of it in his mind? Is it just to be regain some ego or some self-belief?
He has to. I think the entire thing. I mean, he falls down in tears afterwards, doesn't he? The entire thing is.
It's very overly dramatic, actually. I feel like if you were someone in the crowd, you'd be like, yeah, good game of ping pong, but you also be like, well, it's a bit kind of weird that he's like in tears, happy. He's not even allowed to compete. Like, as a sportsman, I would be quite like ashamed to be Marty Mauser, because he's not allowed to compete in a sport that he considers himself the best in the world at, because he's kind of been a scumbag and wrapped up. I guess it's why it's a film with 2 halves. It's like how he acts in the first half, and I guess his redemption to becoming a bit more of a bit less of an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier about humiliation. I mean, he does throughout the film. He realizes that actually, a lot of his success does rely on other people, and he at the start he's like, I have to do this, and I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do all of this, and I'm going to do it myself. And then he realizes throughout the film that, oh no, I need other people, and so he goes back to Rockwell and he gets spanked with the bat, and
so it's like quite a grotesque scene of like it's that kind of like, I don't know, that frat party, or like even like, you know, rich elites behind closed doors, like how they get their kicks. And this guy is fully loving the fact that Marty's come to him head in hand. He's like, the only way to get to Japan is if you let me, you know, come on this tour. And he just goes, the only way that he'll do it is if he lets him spank him on the bottom with his ping pong paddle.
Timmy's real butt, by the way. They didn't use a stunt butt.
Man, he's just such a dedicated actor.
He is the Jackie Chan of our time. But no, I think it's quite, I don't know what the word, not metaphoric, but like quite telling that the paddle that he uses to spank Marty with is the Japanese
one, with the flat board. And that is symbolic of kind of the ass whooping that he got from Endo at table tennis. But I don't know. It's weird. The film. I feel like I'm trying to like kind of same as the Smashing Machine, trying to derive some kind of underlying narrative or theme. And there are themes, but it's hard to know what exact point it's trying to make. But I think the difference between this and the Smashing Machine, which we'll go on to talk about in a sec, is that I found it to be just a much more enjoyable ride. And I had lots of questions and was thinking deeply about kind of different stuff. And I think the fact that the film can do that and challenge you to rethink, you know, your own life, other people's lives, you know, celebrities and icons that they might have been referencing in the film, and just kind of like reflect on like, you know, what life is about, you know.
I think it's interesting. I see there different kinds of films. I mean, sure, there are films that will set out to make a point, and they will be like, this is, you know, everything will, there's like a thesis, you know, if you will. This one, however, I think is more of a character study, and it's more of a what will this guy do to get what he wants, and where it makes the audience question where this comes from. What does this say about our modern day? And I think it does say a lot about you know, the narcissism and opportunism, like I've said, of the modern day. And I think in that way it succeeded a lot. I think he's an incredibly good character. You know, they were writing this film before they released Uncut Gems.
Wow,
Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein.
So it's been a long time in the making, and I do wonder why Benny jumped ship. Do you reckon he wasn't a fan of the project, or?
I have no idea. It's not for me to speculate on that, but
no. Oh, well, what are we here for then?
Oh yeah, gossip. I forgot. It's a recurring segment here. Actually, I heard that Benny hated the script. No, he didn't.
They should. You know, they don't have like a Gallagher brothers of the film industry. I think they should just do it. They should openly just like go for each other in the press.
Yeah. I think we need more film beef. We need to make. I think the problem there is that directors, I think, inherently are not like. I think to be a musician, you have to also be a showman, and you have to, you know, you're going up on stage, you're performing to people. Directors inherently are not seen, like they are behind the camera. They are not even like
throwing clapperboards at each other. Yeah,
and I mean, obviously there are directors like that do, you know, start arguments with people. But like, watching an interview back to the New York Film Festival intro with Josh Safdie, he like clearly is like incredibly nervous to be talking in front of that many people, and he's obviously not very used to it. And I think that's fine. Like I just don't think directors. There's a great quote from Scorsese where it was on the audio commentary for Taxi Driver, and it's like somebody asked me what that meant, but I don't know. That's I can't explain it. That's why I had to film it. You know, and I think that it tells you all you need to know about directors and how they perceive. Like every film is like a personal project. It says something about the person who made it, whether it's a good or bad thing. They do the talking through the films. Like David Lynch obviously was very against ever talking about what his films meant or anything, because it's in the film. I put everything I could in the film, so I don't know.
I can't remember what this quote or this. It reminds me of I was listening to some interview of a musician or something, and they were talking about how like you don't sit down and think I'm gonna write X Y Z, and this song is gonna be. It's like you write and then you kind of do the explaining after, which means you kind of know just about as much as the audience at that point, because you write and make this thing from a certain place of like flow state or subconscious or whatever you want to call it, and then when it's actually there in front of you, then you have to, I think you get pressured to make a narrative out of it or explain yourself, and it's like you are on the same boat as the audience in a way. You made it, but it doesn't mean that you know what it's about.
There's a quote from Tarantino where he's talking about Reservoir Dogs, and he talks about that bit where obviously it's all kind of one room, mostly Reservoir Dogs, isn't it? That room where they get the guy tortures, and he talks about how it was only after he'd written it he realised that it's a father-son dynamic, all of these guys coming in and but he only realised that afterwards, and then he's like, oh, see, that's what I've done, and so asking people to explain themselves is I think a bit of a fool's errand, really. Yeah,
I mean, it can ruin and stuff a bit sometimes.
Yeah. I was going to say, actually, I thought it was very interesting when we came out the film. You sounded quite negative about it, and then you gave it 4.5 stars. So I wondered what the thinking was there. Did you change your mind, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was like I sat with it for a bit longer. I don't know. I went in, and again, I say I'm repulsed by the promotion, because like that's what it does to me these days. I'm just so like, even if it's for a good cause, I'm just like fucking promotion can be quite.
It was a lot.
There, and I sat down and I was like, oh, it's set in the 50s, and then there's this 80s soundtrack, and then like, I don't know, I was just a bit like, and it was built up so much in my head that how could it ever live up to it? And there's certain little things in the movie where it's like, Tyler the Creator being in it sort of broke my kind of surreal. It broke the fourth wall for me, and like I don't know. So there's like little nitpicky things that I could be like, if I really want to focus on all these bad parts, but then you actually think about the rest of the film and all the bits that I did enjoy, and they far outweighed the little things that I came out of the theatre being a little bit negative about. Which is, my first place to go was to criticize and think this is what I think was wrong with it. But I definitely think I'd like to rewatch it at home as well. I feel like that would be a different. I don't know. I think it's a different experience every time watching something at home to watching it in the cinema.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me, going back to the Smashing Machine, the big thing for me that I can say for Marty Supreme and not the Smash Machine is that I will almost certainly rewatch Marty Supreme. I don't think I'll ever watch.
Well, yeah. Should we move on to the Smashing Machine then?
Yeah, I mean, just briefly. Obviously, tells the story of Mark Kerr, kind of the forgotten man of UFC who helped bring UFC to fame, and about his personal struggles and his drug habit.
I will say I thought that it was a better looking film in terms of scene by scene. Like the shots were really well done. The 35mm film, which I didn't realise Marty Supreme was shot on film, different forms of film. I think 35, 50 and different ones, but I think it was entirely shot on 35mm film, which I think is a really confident artistic choice, and it really worked.
It looks incredibly warm.
It looks super warm, and it's sort of that. Yeah, I also really got the vibe that it was sort of. Like I think I wrote in my Letterboxd review as a love letter to Raging Bull, and that's kind of how I felt about the film. Is that I can see that it's trying to replicate it, but the thing with Raging Bull, like I said, is you see a bit more of him meeting the girl, and you see a bit more of the arc of a whole story. What I feel like is the snapshot was too small, and they should have probably gone back to the drawing board and thought about a story a bit more than they did. Because for me, the film was much more style over substance.
Okay. Yeah. See, yeah, people do use that as a negative thing. I've never really minded too much, and I think I liked the Smash Machine a bit more than you did. And I think, yeah, it looked fantastic, and the prosthetics that The Rock is wearing is pretty cool, and I think he's really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. There's so much like practical things that are done very, very well in the film, but for me, like, I guess all of those can fall short if the story isn't good and you don't connect with it, and you're just sort of left wondering why you've spent an hour or so, in this current day and age where we're living in like a, what they call it, like a attention economy, like and it's like, why should I sit down and dedicate X amount of time to this film unless there is a clear kind of, like, it's quite a commitment nowadays to watch films, and we were talking last episode about the remakes being easier to commit to because the story is going to be solid because they're time proven.
Yeah, it is also. I mean, the Smash Machine is actually more about Mark Kerr.
It's a real story.
It's an actual real story. Marty Supreme is obviously, I think, loosely based on a guy, but not really. But obviously, even the end bit where he says, this is what happened to Mark Kerr afterwards, and it follows him shopping as well.
I like that. I really like that because I thought it was like the whole point is like, here he is, the real Mark Kerr, and it's doing such a mundane task such as his shopping, and it for me, I was like, that was the strongest thing where I was like, is this is trying to say something? Like, you don't just go, that'd be funny if he's doing his shopping, or like there's a real reason. I think it's trying to humanize him, and to maybe kind of to even like represent that he's forgotten about, he's just a normal guy doing his shopping, you know what I mean? And then but he's pioneered this sport, and that was like I think they were trying to hit it home a little bit there. Whether it was successful or not, I don't know, but I thought that was quite quite clever to just see him in this like natural, and we all got to do our shopping, we've all got to be like, hey, how's it going, and and it's just like, just a dude doing his shopping, and it humanizes him, I guess. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. You see the real guy, that there's like all of this like Hollywood drama, but this is actually just a real guy that's got out and gets shopping. I think that's good. I did think that the character of Mark Kerr was a bit more empathetic, but I guess that's not necessarily even the point. Like, it doesn't matter if you empathise with Marty, because the point of the film is, what will this character do, and what has he done, and where is he going? Whereas Smashing Machine is more. It's more a bit more formulaic in how
it's
it
like
approaches
he's this
character.
gentle giant, and it's like he's like, he's supposed to be really likable, and he is likable, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson makes him likable. But then again, there's this other bit where you're like, why are you making this film? Like, who hurt you? Like, there's bits where it sort of feels like The Room, like, because it's. Have you seen The Room?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, it's what's his face?
Oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau,
and it's just like it's The Room is essentially a film that seems like it's been made because someone's had a bad breakup or been cheated on by their ex, and just like there's bits where it's like it kind of hinders on misogyny, and no, this film isn't exactly that, but it's also like what they're trying to just like the female partner is purveyed in a very, very bad light, and like there is the whole time you're just like, he would be better off if he just fucking ditched her and went on.
It does make you
pursue
think
his dream, and it's like who behind this is trying to purvey this message of like, women hold you back, which is what I got from it.
It does make you think, is this an accurate representation of this woman? I don't know.
I mean, I feel pissed if I was her. I'd be like that. But and it's also like, they were together 5 years after the film ends, the time period where the film ends, and then they broke up again, and it's like, well, okay, so like, is Mark Kerr gone to Benny and been like, let's fucking drag her through the mud, man? Because like, I don't know, for instance, like with The Wolf of Wall Street, a biopic about Jordan Belfort, he was involved in the making of it, but I think one of the best parts about it is that by the end it's humanizes him, and it's like, yeah, he's not a fucking good guy, man. Like he is the fucking problem in a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I've read the book as well, and like Britain by Jordan Belfort, and it's like he does just kind of own up, and he was like, well, I was on a lot of cocaine, and I was a fucking terrible partner, and I cheated, and I was a scumbag, and he just, like, he's very honest with the fact that, like he describes his divorce in a lot of like endearing, like, oh, UK, you understand where you went wrong, and you even like maybe identify bits, but it's a mutual kind of grounded thing. Whereas Smashing Machine, what is that saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think Marty Supreme would be more memorable. I think is.
Yeah, Marty Supreme might like live on a bit longer through the time. I think the Smashing Machine is gonna. I don't know. It feels like a more classic film in terms of like it's not really reinventing anything, whereas Marty Supreme feels like it's gonna be looked upon as like a staple of maybe our era, of film that we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I feel like Benny loses the war on this one.
Well, he lost the battle, but maybe he hasn't lost the war yet. I don't think there's much animosity there. I think we're picking this up a lot more than.
I don't know. I think Josh is sitting pretty happy on his throne at home. He can racking up his bill in the Ritz.
But no, I'm interested to see what's next for both of them.
Yeah, I think if Benny works with a decent writer, then there's a lot of chance, but there's a lot of hope. But
yeah, I mean, Josh's style of filmmaking, I think, for me, I like it a lot more. That high anxiety sort of stuff.
I guess the thing is Josh is stuck with the themes that they were using when they were a brother-director pair, whereas I feel like Benny has gone off and he's trying to do something different, which maybe at first it's not going to land, but maybe he's going to go off on his own path and go find his own style. Maybe that Josh has been leading the front prior.
I think there's certainly going to be an artistic development, I think, from both of them now that they've separated. I think that'd be really interesting to watch. But to finish up, do we want to give ratings on the films, or are we not really fussed on that?
I mean, yeah, I've got my ratings.
So I gave 4 stars to Marty Supreme, 3.5 to Smashing Machine. Yeah, and you?
I gave 3 stars to Smashing Machine and 4.5 to Marty Supreme.
Ooh, big difference there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was very, like, especially watching it such close, like, succession of each other. And also watching Marty Supreme first might have swayed. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be overly generous just for the sake of it, because I didn't think there was anything that bad with the Smashing Machine, but then again, I wasn't like blown away so much that I would be willing to give it, because 3.5 stars are good. It's like, solid for me, and then 4 stars like, okay, this is great, and then 4.5 stars like, this is really great, and then 5 stars masterpiece.
Yeah. I'm very hesitant to give out 5 stars. I try and reserve the 4.5, 5.
Hoard my stars for those who deserve it, Benny.
But great.
Gonna name the episode Farty Supreme.
You and Paul messaged me weeks before Marty Supreme came out. Idea for the pod: Farty Supreme. Nothing else.
I never got a reply to that either.
I don't think you deserve one. Anyway, tune in next time for an episode.
We have no idea what it's about.
About Fred Neil.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
We do know.
I've done a lot of research. Not to big myself up, but I think this is going to be fun.
One of us has done the work.
One of us has done a lot of work. Too much, possibly.
I'm the Benny in this situation.